You ready?
Yeah.
Alright, guys. Early morning podcast. I'm gonna scoot over a little bit so we can both be in this one too. You ready?
Yeah.
Alright, let's do this. Let's do this.
Straight off. I'm good.
You ain't ready?
No, I did read.
I can ask you, do you believe in aliens? You ain't even ready?
I'm good. If that's what you need, I don't know, girl talk, but where we trying to go with it.
Girl Talk believes in
parallel universe and all
and life outside of Earth. Hey, Dwayne, how you doing? Thanks for joining Girl Talk University episode 11. Moving right along. This episode is going to be about black girls and happiness. We have Mr. Marcus Cade Jr. here. Can I call you Marcus for short?
Yes. All day.
All right. Let's go ahead and get started. Thank you for coming.
Oh yeah, no problem.
I appreciate it. How you feeling today?
I'm good. I'm blessed. Well, all cameras. Focus on all y'all. We good.
Okay, so this is Staci. I'm here with Marcus. This is Girl Talk University episode 11, Black Girls and Happiness. It's a bright and early Saturday morning, so if you're eating your cereal or eggs and omelets, go ahead and listen to us while you're eating your breakfast. So let's talk a little bit about happiness, Marcus. What makes you happy?
I make myself happy, really. I find it to be something that is generated. So there's a lot of ways that I use to cultivate it, because I do believe that in our natural ways of being, or our natural inner self, we are pulsating with happiness. But when we grow in the type of environment we grow in, the type of society we're in, all the influences, pollutants, all of that, we find ourselves moving more with fear, and restricting ourselves. So I feel like it's through a series of habits. My approach is activating it within. So
okay, so let me tell the guests a little bit about you. So Marcus and I went to Hampton University together, the real HU.
Yes.
Many moons ago. How many years ago was it? Like 20?
I don't do that. I just go over the nice memories.
So it was like 30 years for you and like 20 years for me. You know what
I don't do that either. Don't do that.
So, and Marcus is also the CEO and owner of Happiness Decoded 101. Can you tell us a little bit about what inspired you to start that?
I would say the main thing was probably me just having a desire to help other people. I'm an older brother, so a lot of I was kind of put at 4 years old. I was put into like a leadership type of position. You know what I'm saying?
The oldest out of how many?
Just me and him.
Okay.
Me and my brother. Yeah. So.
Hey, bro. Hey, little bro.
But just that first child mentality. You know what I'm saying? I think sparked it. And just being somebody who's just emotionally attuned and things like that. And a lot of tragedies and things that I've been through caused me to want to heal myself. But not just go back to normal, but try to take it even further. And then the more I grew, the more breakthroughs I took myself through. I wanted to create a platform to be able to give it to other people. Because I'm talking about years of just internal growth, sometimes isolation, and reaching new heights on all levels, and then being able to communicate. I wanted a way to communicate that to people who go through similar things. So.
Okay, yeah. So you talked a little bit about tragedy. What do you do, or what have you done in the past, like when you experience tragedy or heartbreak or whatever? Because I found that, like, as a black woman, as a black girl, I don't really have a lot of tools sometimes to resort to when I'm experiencing like those things. So what is it that you do? Like, you get some bad news, you hear something negative. What is your go-to?
I look for the advantages, the reasons, like the signs, how it's designed to help me. What am I supposed to get from it? What am I supposed to extract from it? So I go instantly into extraction mode. So I may have the initial, damn, that was stupid. Or why did that, come on. But minutes after that, I'm in blessing mode. I'm like, yo, I appreciate not you directly. If somebody triggered it, I'm not gonna thank nobody directly for cutting me off and trapped at the end of that.
I was going to say,
But I ain't,
pull up. Feeling like swearing up from time to time.
Pull up and give them money. Thank you. That's not gonna happen. But what I choose to do is extract as much as I can from it personally, and use it use it towards my goals and my purpose, and that always helps.
That's good. That's good. That's kind of difficult though. I'm gonna push back a little bit because we don't. How much time does it take when you're in your feelings, you're angry, you're sad? Like, you give yourself 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Like, how much time do you allow yourself to kind of sit with the initial feelings before you kind of switch and start thinking positive?
And that's a good question. I've built it. I've done it so many times over the years, and it's become a second nature mechanism. So I don't really sit with it, like, you know what I'm saying, like, and if there is a, let's say for example there is a high level emotionally charged situation, I immediately put myself in a space where I can read the signs and kind of bring my mood back up.
Right.
So I'm instantly in that. So I'll set up the room. I might do, like, you know, book, music, incense, lighting. I set, you know, you gotta set the stage for yourself to be in an emotional
stage
state.
area. Do you do that? Are you a sager?
I've done it before.
I'm a sager.
I've done it before, and the first time I did sage was crazy because I was like, yo, that stinks, man. Like, you know what I mean? And then I thought, okay, a lot of people use sage. So am I the demon? If it stinks to me, it's something wrong with me. Like,
No,
you know what I mean?
it's an acquired smell.
All right.
Like, now it's like, okay, I'll take it, I'll allow it, but it's not like the best smelling thing. You're right, but
like,
I mean,
social media doing this, and
yeah.
I'm like, yo, get it out of here. But
You're right.
you put it far enough away.
All right. Hey Jordan. Hey Justin. Hey Cuz.
Yeah.
Hey King. How you doing? This is Staci and Marcus, episode 11 of Girl Talk University, Black Girls and Happiness. He's also the owner of Happiness Dakota. He's giving us tools early in the morning.
Early
You gotta
game.
set the stage up right, you know, to make sure that you get out of those negative spaces. Let's talk about women a little bit. All right.
No problem.
All right. So, what have you seen? Because we're gonna get to some of the things that Marcus does in terms of writing and things like that later. What have you seen has been the worst thing that makes women unhappy? Or what are the trends that you see in terms of girls and women in terms of distracting them or keeping them away from their happiness, for achieving happiness?
Giving too much, so exhaustion by virtue of over-sacrificing.
Talk to it. Hey, some people joining in.
Not being appreciated, and I just see a lot in the dating scene. That's like, and that's really, you know, when I talk happiness, I do it in 4 quadrants. One quadrant is relationships that I focus a lot on, and that's what I ended up doing my IG show every night on, because of the fact that was a large area of negatively charged feelings for a lot of women that I know, and I've been in a position since middle school, literally, of helping, you know, just my homegirls with relationships and all of that, you know what I'm saying? Because it's an interest of mine, but I just have a different type of connection to it and a different vision for it. So, but I do feel like relationships are a trigger for a lot of women's unhappiness, and that's in a relationship that's toxic, or that's out of one, wanting to be in one that's long lasting.
I don't understand that though, because we get in relationships for happiness. So how is it that relationships are also the thing that causes us the most unhappiness?
Because it's a transfer of energy. If there's a lot of either traumas, or there's faulty perspectives, if there's a high fear-based mentality, if there's a lot of things going on internally, mentally, and emotionally that haven't been healed necessarily, you're carrying that negative thinking pattern into a connection with somebody else. And when energy brings you two together, they're a source of negativity too. They're a source of triggering too. They're a source of brokenness too. So you're compounding it.
Brokenness and brokenness together.
Right. So two people who are going through stuff that they don't want to heal from are gonna destroy each other, and that's why. And the irony is, the fear that brought you into the relationship is the same fear that makes it hard to leave. So when you find people in toxic relationships, their fear of being lonely, their fear of not finding the right one, their fear of what leaving would do to them. Sometimes it's a guilt factor, things like that. You know, that's a process. Yeah,
and it's also like, what I've learned is that, like, sometimes as a black woman, I feel guilty not seeking a relationship. And I guess it's because of pressures maybe my aunts, family members have put on me, like, what are you waiting on? What are you waiting on? Come on now. So I found that some women are actually happy not even seeking that for that time, but due to other stressors, it makes them unhappy because they're not living up to other people's standards, I guess.
Right, and that's another thing. Like, families transfer mentalities. So you've seen just on all of the, Dr. Phil's stuff, Diana Von Zahn, all those kind of situations where family mentality, whether it's violence or verbal abuse or things get passed down until it stops. So that's a cycle too. That may be a faulty mentality, because I know a lot of women who, and that's why most of my, like when I do my show, some guys come on, but a lot of women come on too, because you're under a different pressure when it comes to relationships. So like, you can be single and be cool with it, but once you go home into the family atmosphere, everybody's asking you the same questions. And my grandma asked me too. But that ain't enough. I'm not comparing that. I would never compare that to what you guys go through. So I make it a distinct point to help. You know what I'm saying? Just women sort of empowered, feel empowered with their own mentality, even if it breaks from the norm of even their own family. Because a lot of women have high allegiance with family, and that's a good thing. But then you can't be afraid to be the black sheep sometimes.
It's hard though.
Oh yeah, I know.
It's hard. I feel like the black sheep sometimes. The only one that moved away, the only one that's like not super pressed to be married or have kids right now this second. I was told I was depriving my mom. I was depriving her. I saw
a post that said the black sheep soon becomes the goat.
Hey! So
take that as you will. But you said your mom is depriving you?
No, one of my aunts said my mom. I am depriving my mom in terms of not getting married, not having kids. I am depriving her. I guess it's like being a grandma. And
that's unfair. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because to tie, you can buy them a purse or something, but to tie you having a child as a gift that you're owed to the family in a certain time frame that's.
You know what's worse?
It's not good.
And I'm about to be real vulnerable right now. I kind of believe it. I believe her.
And you would. I mean, because this is
these are people I trust.
These are the people you came up under. So that's the thing. You can have allegiances, but you don't have to trust everybody's mentality or subscribe to everybody's mentality. I don't care how deep the bloodline runs. And that's why in situations it just helps to redefine boundaries. You can be close to somebody and not adopt all of their views.
That's true.
And give, like you gave pushback earlier, give pushback when toxic things are said that you know are going to affect you later. Because like you said, you believe it. So there may have to be conversations had, because what I find in the older generation, they like to say the same thing a lot. They retired, they ain't doing nothing, they watching the have and have nots. So they just so when you come around, you bring a new energy. They can just launch all of their mentalities on you and live through you and influence you to do things that maybe aren't in the cards for you right then.
And the thing is, they mean well though. Isn't that crazy? I believe sometimes they mean well.
Sometimes
you have to want to do this, right? What are you doing? This is going to bring you to happiness. They see, come on, I feel like they.
Sometimes, I think. Sometimes I think it can be mixed. Sometimes people just say stuff to live vicariously. Sometimes people say things because they want you to be happy. But there's a level to that, because what makes you happy right now should be enough. Why do you have to be happy in the way that I was happy?
Right.
That's just a little self-centeredness in there, mixed in with probably wanting you to be happy too. So instead of having to deal with the convolutedness, anything that's triggering, you got to sit down in that back room. Look, when I come around, you can ask me what's new. I'll tell you what's new and what's making me happy right now. But in my process, I don't want to feel like I'm coming in hugging people thinking that I'm depriving them of happiness. Don't put that on me.
That's a lot to put on.
That's a lot. You got enough going on.
It is. Woo! That's good. All right. Episode 11, Black Girls Are Happiness. My cousin is on. She's like, please help her. Yeah, Marcus is actually would you call yourself my life coach? What would you call yourself? Kind of do some life coaching?
Yeah, life coach, happiness coach.
Yeah. So, he's helping me, cuz. All right. So, thank you, cuz, for that. All right. So, let me ask you another question. We're still on the topic of relationships. So, let's say I have a friend, right? And she's in this toxic relationship that I clearly see is the source of her unhappiness, right? but she's not like wanting to leave. She's not wanting like better for herself or whatever. What do I do as a friend? Because being in the space with her and them makes me unhappy.
Mm-hmm.
Yet I want to be a friend, right? And I feel like this is a common thing with black girls and friendships. It's like, girl, come on, leave them, right? But you don't want to seem like the single person that's giving that advice because you're single, you know? Okay. So it's like, what do I do with that?
I think that I'll tell you what I had to do one time. So I had a homegirl, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna put a name out here.
Yeah. But, hey, homegirl.
Right, but so we had not really talked in a little while. It's one of those people who they're gonna be in your life, you know, forever. You know what I'm saying? But there's times where you're going through something. You got, you know, y'all just miss each other for a certain amount of time. Come back, check in, and all that. It's still the same energy. So I was going through a lot of stuff, moving around a lot. Came back in town and reached out, talking, chopping it up, catching up. Along the lines, she told me like, yeah, you know, she's in a relationship, whatever. So you already know. I'm asking questions. I'm like, how was that? How long? What's it looking like? Everything she gave me was like, whoa, like that's not. That ain't right. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And the more she told me, the more I realized, okay, this is like super toxic. It's not a situation
Did you tell her?
Okay. You should be in like that because it was like she was lowering her standards. And we talked about it, and you know, she has kind of like the rescuer mentality, which is what I talk about in the book. I talk about that online. And so what I did as a friend, I talked her through it a lot of times, but I gave her a deadline. So I gave her an actual date to say, okay, we've gone through the evidence, right? We've already talked. Look, see, like there's a list, a whole list of things of why this is not what you're looking for. And I like to, when I have conversations, I like to use what you say, repeating back to you, because a lot of times we say things in our own heads, or we say them out loud, and we don't get it yet. So when I repeat it back, it looks crazy. I want you to feel.
Did I hear you say that he had how many kids were you? Okay.
Right. Because this guy, like, he didn't even tell her where she lives. He was creeping with, you know, baby moms, all kind of stuff going on. So I was like, these are the things that you told me, and these are the things that you told me that you want, or that you feel like you deserve, or that you're looking for. Those two don't equate, so obviously this is not the right person. So I'm giving you till August 31st to break up with this person. And knowing that there's a fallout. It's
That's what I'm gonna say. You willing to risk your friendship on that?
My friendship ain't risked. I didn't risk it.
I'm saying, like, it's different when you're a man, though, I think. And I know that can be an overgeneralization. Okay. But like sometimes with women, our friendships will break up if we do that. Like, look, this dude is not right. You need to break up with him. He's blah, 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 blah. I would have to be willing to risk not being a friend with this person anymore because they might hate me for doing that.
Then that's a risk you got to take, because if you understand the gravity of the potential gravity of being in a toxic relationship, you understand that somebody's happiness is at stake, somebody's health can be at stake,
life, everything.
Somebody's life could be at stake if you're in the wrong relationship. So if it's somebody who's constantly toxic in whatever ways, sometimes you got to put all of that on the line for somebody to let them know how serious you are about their happiness, period. And they can suspect that you're doing it off some bitterness, come be single with me, but then they really don't know you. If that's the case, they don't need to be your friend.
But I'm saying, like, okay, what do you do? It's like, look, I'm not tolerating that, so I'm not going to be in a space where I'm feeling like I'm accepting that because I'm not, so I'm going to separate myself. Then what?
Well, I didn't have proximities, so I wasn't hanging out with them or nothing like that, but I was
what if you're like, this is like a close friend? Like
Then you got to create, like you said, create boundaries so that they know that I don't accept it. But just being there for them if they decide to go with it and break up, you have to be there on the other side.
Yeah, for sure.
And so, one thing that I told her, I was like, look, 31st, I said, I'm going to call you the day before to get you amped up for this.
A good friend.
And I'm going to call you, text me when it's done. I'm going to call you after it's done to help you deal with the the outlet, you know, just all of the aftermath, because from how his type was, I analyzed it and I was like, he gonna try to lure you back and he gonna press the guilt button, he gonna lure you back, he gonna try to keep contact with you. This is what you do when that happens. So I sort of like insulated it so that it wasn't as impactful or as hard, because you got somebody on the other side. I think that's another thing too, is like, you can't make anybody do anything, but you can do your best to be there. And if they're refusing, or if they're looking at you like, nah, I don't want to do that, then you have to choose to only interact with them in a certain fashion. Like you know, if the other person's there, you don't have to be there.
Yeah,
you don't have to inject yourself in any
sure.
toxic situation and things like that. But it can be hard, which is why the support is necessary. Like, and if you're being supportive, and you know you're letting her know what's real, until she, you know, and be repetitive just until she sees it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's tough. All right, we're talking some good stuff. Let's talk about Where's My Bae, everybody. This is Marcus's first book. You know who wrote it. You know who wrote it. Happiness Decoded. See, everybody see that? You can find this on Amazon. I got mine from Amazon. Did it give you a notification when I bought it?
No, I didn't. I don't get any notifications. I don't get any notifications. So I have to like go back and check, like, you know, just itemize. Yeah, it's hard.
Tell us about it, everybody. You can pick up this Where's My Bae, Where's My Bae by Marcus Cade. You can pick it up on Amazon. You can go to his Facebook or Instagram, Happiness Decoded 101, and get a copy. I think it was $18.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us about it. What's the inspiration behind this?
Man, so all right. There's a couple different layers to the story, right? But I spent a lot of time just, you know, in the early, before Happiness Decoded and all of that, like I was always into relationships and like, you know, I wanted to help as best way I could. So I was doing like video blogs, posting online some years back. And it got to a point where I was seeing a lot of the same type of posts, the same type of complaints about relationships, the same type of narratives. So I said, well, how can I solve this? How can I solve all of them at once? And I said, you know what, I should write something. And it just kind of, the idea kept forming, and I said, look, I'm gonna write a book about it. And isolate my top 10 just most common that I see, just baggage issues that people find themselves. And that's not a judgment connotation word, because we all come with something. We ain't put the bag on us,
right? But we got it though. We carrying it though.
We just strapped, right? So we gotta put that on the floor. But so I was finding like, okay, a lot of, you know, abandonment stuff, that's common. I see people posting daddy issues and people, you know, certain mentalities, people, you know, searching for people who are going through stuff and living in those relationships where
unconsciously though.
Yeah, it's not like oh man, it's what you're attracted to, and by virtue of the type of relationships and people you attract, you find out what your baggage points are, what your fears are, etc.
The way you were connecting some of the stuff in the book, I was like, huh, that's true. I was a little triggered reading it, I'm not gonna lie, with some stuff. You said, if you're already getting his car out of the tow lot after the second week, then you need to evaluate. I'm like, I thought I was just being nice. Damn, Marcus just read me in this book. So, ladies,
I gotta tell you,
everybody, kids, read it.
I gotta tell you too, like that was the most fun. That was one of my most fun projects because I wanted to sound like it's coming from me, and I love information, knowledge. I love simplifying things, and I love having fun too, and I love talking about relationships. So I wanted the book to sound like me. I didn't want it to sound like WebMD, or some kind of just extra hard literature type of thing, and just because that would bore me. So I wanted people to be able to read it on trains, on breaks, just real easy to flow through, but be funny at the same time. I got music references, like 90s R&B stuff, just everything compiled, jokes and all that.
I saw the reference about pineapples. I know it's early in the morning, but I saw the reference about women eating pineapples for a certain purpose. You know what I'm saying? So I guess we can talk about diet and exercise next and how that relates to happiness. Tell us about how what you eat and stuff affects.
Just happy. Man, it's to in a nutshell, like want to constantly, not constantly, but you want to be in a state where what you're eating is providing you with enough for your body to give you energy back. And a lot of times, you know, just cooked foods in general is dead. It's already, you know, cooked down. It's hard for the body to extract any nutrients. So, you know, fruits are probably the most electrifying out of all the foods, and it's what our bodies were designed to eat. Not to say that you got to do that 100% of the time, but you definitely got to add it to your diet. You know, if you can make it predominant, because mood, brain fog, the mood, the you know, emotional shifts and things like that, but just being tired, lethargic, all of that comes from not putting in foods that don't have any energy to extract from it. And they become bogged down and create waste, they create plaque in your intestinal walls, and it just creates a bad situation.
Ooh, child. But let's talk about that though, because sometimes like when we're going out to eat and stuff, I feel happy doing that. And I know a lot of girls and women feel happy when they're eating. When I was a teacher, right, the kids would come in with damn red fingers from eating tacos and stuff, and it just brought them happiness, just like eating, even though they were eating, I guess, the wrong things. So how do we make that shift? Because when I think about eating like raw vegetables, that doesn't make
Oh no, not vegetables. And that's the thing. Fruits are more powerful than vegetables. So there's no need to OD on all the vegetables like that.
Okay. But yeah, I just think for a while, like eating bad foods kind of makes us feel happy. I don't know if it's the camaraderie, but sometimes all of our happiness is surrounded around food, which is necessarily bad, sometimes bad. So how do we make that shift is what I'm asking you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's a matter of making the just creating goals for yourself and being disciplined, because fruit isn't disgusting. So it's not like I'm saying y'all need to eat cardboard with some paprika on it for 20 days straight. You know what I mean?
That's what it sounds like.
but you know, you're right. The social aspect in conjunction with a lot of the foods are based on addictive properties. Like so they there's a brain kick in, like you're dealing with chemicals. So like, you know what I'm saying? That's and whenever you associate, so for example, like morning coffee, right? Or a morning cigarette or whatever. Like when you create a routine that the brain adapts to with a thing, going to the club, drinking. It's a certain thing. So it's just like, you know, it's almost paraphernalia involved, routine involved. You create that addiction. So you always have control over alternatives. So creating, and you know, we talked a little bit about just rewarding yourself for certain things, or creating a reward system around something that's maybe more healthy for you, as opposed to something like, you know, something like that. But like, so for example, if you're talking about food, period,
like food,
you can eat. So for the social thing, you may be able to eat a certain way socially if you eat right all the rest of the time.
That's good.
So if you know what I'm saying, if you eating like, you know, a lot of fruits and diet and exercise and things like that, or you do intermittent fasting, and then, you know, just test yourself, and then when you do go to that social event, that's your reward for the other disciplines. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to just being like, nah, I ain't really gonna hang with y'all.
Right.
Y'all going to one of them restaurants, right? Now,
I'm so tempted.
Matter of fact, FaceTime me and put the phone on the
and turn it away from the food. Okay.
Right.
Show me your plate.
You ain't gotta live like that. But you know, just isolating things as a reward and not necessarily a part of your routine, you'll do better with that. Okay.
All right. So let's shift to the last little part. Hey, Tia. Hey, Juice. Hey, Young King Dez. I see you all the way from the ATL. This is Staci and Marcus. We're on episode 11 of Girl Talk University. We're talking happiness. So let's talk a little bit about women again, and the stereotype that we are anything but happy. Like this, we're angry, right? Where does that even come from? Do you have any ideas? Because like in my life, I see girls and women that are happy most of the time. We're laughing, we're smiling, we're kikiing, right? But to the larger society, we're not looked at as happy. Why is that?
Man, when it comes to larger society, like I've always been a person where I'm just so comfortable with who I am, period, that anybody else's thoughts just really don't concern me. But I do recognize that as a reality, and you just have to celebrate the antithesis to that, because you know, if you are, and you know, with black women, I find that not as much I don't see as much the angry part, more so as I see the strength thing being misinterpreted, or that label being placed on you, and that reflecting having to deal with multiple things, even to your own detriment. And that's sort of a toxic. It can be a toxic label too, because
being strong.
Right, because it carries too much with it. And I think just a black community period, if you look at like the John Henry story and things like that, you know, just in black history and the fictional, the fictional aspect of, I think dude was working on the railroad or something like that, and he just worked himself to death, like, and that was sort of applauded, like that was a thing, that was a story that, and you know the system we're under, so everything that we do, there's gonna be negatives projected on it. There's gonna be stereotypes designed to cause us, to control us and cause us to act a certain way. And you know, we break that by, number one, not intending to break a stereotype, but to redefine yourself and celebrate that constantly.
That's right. Because
what you focus on, you assimilate. So if you're focusing on breaking something else, you're giving it the focus and attention, and you perpetuate it unknowingly. So focus on, you know, being the best you can be, accentuating your new strengths, your newfound, you know, whatever it is, resilience, whatever it is. And take more care of yourself. Celebrate that.
You got to celebrate that, yeah. Because what we celebrate, I've noticed, is like how much we can endure. Like what you said. Girl, I worked 3 shifts. I had 2 other jobs, and then he beat my ass and blah blah blah. And I fed the kids, and I woke up the next day. And it's like, that's right, girl. And it's like, why can't we celebrate happiness in that same way?
And that's extra tragic, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, it just compromises us as a community, you know, it just raises the mortality, like it's just not, you know, and just health wise as well, it just adds on to the stress components and things like that. So it's not something you want to celebrate. You want to get with people that can hold you accountable to self-care elements and create reward systems around self-care adherence, as opposed to how many things happen to you and how you still kick it. Because when that's a part of your self-esteem and you running with that, I can endure the most, you're shortening your lifespan.
I
know
agree.
what I'm saying?
I agree. You're putting yourself through stress that you don't even need to.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me, what's next for Happiness Dakota 101?
Damn.
Tell all of us. What's next? Are we gonna get a Where's My Bank Part 2? Are you gonna give us more keys? What's next?
Okay, speaking of that, the next book is it's gonna be just Happiness Decoded, and it's gonna be the mega guide. So to happiness period, because that one I wanted to get deep into just the relationship aspect, but this one covers all of it. So, you know, I talk about psychology, I talk about you know, physical health, I talk about partnerships, obviously, and I talk about life purpose. And how to discover that and how to cultivate that within yourself. So I go into all four of those quadrants, and the way it's going to be built is I'm going to talk about my experiences, I'm going to talk about the strategies, the execution of everything, and just how to maneuver through everything that's going on right now, and to be happy and to maintain it, and how to create a second nature format mentally, so that your default, when you encounter something that's inherently kind of negative or has a negative connotation, you can already, you know, just shift it and convert it to something useful, and not have to worry about it. You know what I'm saying? So that's coming. I have a sort of a romantic / action type movie coming. You know what I'm saying? So that's
Queen Slam.
No. Nah, I ain't gonna give it up, but I will say.
People gonna be dying in your movie, Marcus.
Yeah, but the wrong people.
Okay.
The people who should. You know what I mean? But it's gonna be, oh man, it's you know, black love story, but it's also gonna be, what is the basis of it is what would you do? How far would you go for the love of your woman?
Would you?
So that's
I know, I'm asking you. I'm getting in your business. How far would you?
Just gonna get out of it. that's the challenge. So that's one thing to recognize without giving too much away. But so everything's, like I told you, everything's pretty much written and everything like that. So title, all of that. So next year I'm gonna go into filming, and hopefully put that out by the end of the year. It'll be on my platform, and it'll be I'm at some point I'm gonna get it on Amazon.
Sundance Festival, Netflix is coming. We're gonna
festival, all that type of
coming.
all of that. And I have a big dating workshop coming up on my platform. Total health and wellness. 2 more parts in the summer series for workshops and things like that. So just go to the platform and just tune in, man, because I'm looking to really give you guys just as much as possible. So it's what I call therapeutic media. So I want you to be entertained, but I want you to learn, and I want you to grow, and I want you to be happy at the same time. It can all exist at the same time. Healing doesn't have to be, just a negative or a hard situation.
That's right.
It can be positive, it can be fun, it can be vibrant. So that's what I like to
That's
give.
good. So last question, 2 parts. I'm really passionate about black girls and us being happy, and I know you're the father of a beautiful black girl. So how do you instill happiness into the little one? Because I think kids are kind of happy anyway, but how do you give her that double dose of happiness and teach her how to strive for happiness?
Always strength based. So any strengths I see, any consistency I see, any just whether it's following directions, something simple as that, or whether just fighting through her doubts in order to finish, because we do sight words, we do work and stuff like that. So just fighting through, you know what I'm saying, and just giving a lot of rewards, a lot of love, a lot of quality time, a lot of attention, and that sort of thing. But sort of guiding those moments when she's not doing the right thing, or she's feeling a certain way, showing her abilities, reminding her of her abilities, taking her to positive, just places of positivity, go on adventures and things like that, just out, just keeping the cup full and showing her how to maintain that, you know what I'm saying?
That's good. Y'all hear that, dads and moms? Keep the cup full. Keep them going. What are 3 things that you would tell black girls in terms of striving for happiness? They can just do 3 things every day. Do this, and this, and I promise you'll be happier. What would those things be? I know I'm putting you on the spot with the 3 things, but you seem like you're good on the spot. So.
Goals is one. Goals will give you a vision of where you're going, because it can be very difficult to be happy without direction, or without what happiness actually looks like for you. Not to say you have to have 10 accomplishments you want to hit as far as in career or anything like that. You don't necessarily have to do that, but some sort of vision, like how you want your life to be, what a typical day looks like, who's there, not by name, but just the type of friends you have, and that'll be key, because you wanna. I found it very difficult to not battle, but just sort of counteract and ascend over negative emotions when you don't really know where you're trying to go like that, because not knowing where you're going triggers a lot more of the negativity sometimes, or not knowing what you want. So you got to know exactly what you want, so when you're not in it, or certain people don't represent it right, and you can easily get rid of that and focus up. So that's So goals is definitely one. Look for the advantages in every situation you can. Look for your blessings, log your blessings, count your blessings, you know what I'm saying? Count your accomplishments, celebrate yourself. And definitely I would say, find your ecosystem. Here's what I mean by that. So find which a happiness ecosystem, right? So what that means is things get rough outside. A lot of times we feel like, okay, we need a mate, because when it gets crazy out here, I need somebody to go to. So what that means, what that translates to is, if you're single, there's a gap or a void. And that void can be triggering, because now you're trying to fill the void and not fill your happiness. You're trying to get somebody to be the person to go to. So I would say, figure out like just write a list of several things that you like to do, things that bring you joy personally. I can't tell you exactly what they are, but I do know, meditation helps. I do know that certain type of music helps. Walking in nature helps. Being around water helps. You know what I'm saying? Finding something some kind of reading, some kind of interest that you can do. Come out with a whole bunch of things. And I don't know wherever y'all live.
Yeah, I know. Tamoya, she's watching. She did her work at the beach the other day. So.
Man, yo.
And she was like, it was so good. She had her book and her laptop.
Respect to you.
Shout out to you.
Respect to you.
Mm-hmm.
I actually did. I did something similar. I was by the waterfront out here in DC one time. I took a break. My job don't know I left.
I'm gonna tell them.
That's fine. They still gonna ride with me. But so I went. It was the summertime, and the tide was up at this waterfront or whatever. So I took my shoes off, put my feet in the water. I was out there with a book, sun hitting right by the trees and everything, just chilling for like an hour and a half.
Good.
And when you create those zones for yourself, they can be a concentrated source of happiness. When you reach those emotional dips, people get on your nerves, family disrespecting you, disloyal, all of that. When you have that and it's concentrated, you go to your zone. You start to train your mind to cultivate and self-generate its own happiness. The better you get with that, just stay consistent with that. The better you get with that, you'll be if you're in the dating age and things like that. Anybody subpar, you're not gonna consider them anymore.
It's like, what?
You're gonna be like,
you said something?
Because now you have a comparison to a specific zone of just activity and energy that you've created and generated yourself. And you're going to be very strict about who you let into that. And that's what you want to carry. And that basically will show you as well how powerful you actually are to set yourself off in the realm of happiness and to not need any negativity around you.
Okay, I didn't call you Pastor Marcus. All right, Pastor Happiness.
Nah, don't do that.
Come on, Pastor Happiness.
No.
Thank you. This was good. I was gonna let you ask me some questions. Do you have any questions before we end? I can answer.
All right, we can do that.
You got time for one. You know what I'm saying? Make it good.
Okay. We'll tell the people. Tell the people that congratulations just on all your efforts so far. Everything you've accomplished, everything you set up. This is no small thing. I'm in a low key theater right now. I'm doing a photo shoot. We got mics, double, just Bluetooth. Everybody's in here, so you know what I mean. I respect it.
You are crazy.
Full magazine mode. But look,
hey,
I want to say definitely, much respect to you for because this was a seed at first. This was an idea at first. And you cultivated it, you kept it moving, and you pushed to keep the momentum going, for young girls. And what would you say that you would want the younger you to know or to realize about just accomplishment and or discipline or vision or whatever? Like what kind of pops in your head as far as just a general thing that you would want to say?
That I am enough and I have everything within me. Like for so many years I was searching for a certain guy or a certain mentor or a certain book or a certain something. Those things help, but I need to start with myself. That's the one thing I wish that my younger self knew. And now that I'm learning it, better late than never. But now that I've been really relying on myself to tap into what was already here all along, it's been good. It's been real good. That's why this has happened, because I'm just, you got this, Staci, just pull it out of you, instead of like seeking everything outward. Just start from within.
There you go.
You gotta help me with that too, a little bit. Thank you. All right, y'all. So it's been good. This is the end of the DC podcast tour. Tamoya and hey. Oh, somebody said smoking helps. Anyway, we're going to talk about that in another episode. Girl Talk University, episode 11. Black Girls and Happiness. I'm here with Mr. Marcus Cade Jr. Buy Where's My Bae on Amazon. Be happy. Join his platform, Happiness Decoded. And follow Girl Talk. Tell these little girls to sign on to Instagram and Facebook. Okay? Peace, y'all. I got to plug in with some music. So, you still had to cue it up. See? That's what sits right here.
Let me connect it back to my speaker.
all right. She had the happiness song queued up.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm talking about. I was like, we gotta play happiness over everything for Marcus.
Who's that?
Janae.
Oh, okay.
Janae. Yeah, a lot of comments. Better is always waiting. Bye. Bye, y'all. Thanks for looking. I'm gonna call my cousin. Don't be telling him to help me out on the IG live page, though.